Should we begin with the niggin?
Sure.
Up to you.
But um, yeah. Do you want me to just play some stuff,
Maybe
or
let's,
an actual bona fide?
yeah, like, not, no, just like in something.
Okay. So as it happens, I just finished participating in the A Niggin a Day project, Klezmer Fiddle Lockdown project of Alana Kravitz. And I learned a bunch of new nigunim from the Beregovsky collection. Uh, so I'll play one of those for you.
Wait. You know what I forgot?
Yeah.
To wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
And that this is not your first or your second, but your third uh, engagement of the day.
It
Correct?
is. I was in San Diego virtually, and I was in London virtually. And
I'm
now,
so sorry I forgot to mention that.
okay.
Amazing.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Want something slower and more contemplative?
I love that. No,
Yeah.
that was beautiful.
Okay. Because I
Uh,
got those too.
you got everything. When did you first discover klezmer music?
Well, when I was a teenager, as it happened, my father, who's a visual artist and was running the arts in East Harlem public schools in the 1970s, he was working with clarinetist Andy Statman's wife, Barbara, who was at the time a young visual artist who he hired. So we became friendly with the Statmans, and Andy invited us to the very first klezmer revival concert of him and Zev Feldman at Town Hall in 1979. And I was blown away. It was like, this was my music. Um, so I've filed that away in my
How old were
brain.
you?
I was 16 at the time. Then
Whoa.
I went to college. I ended up majoring in ethnomusicology. I was majoring in neuroscience. Then I kind of took a left turn. Um, and
Yeah,
what,
as you do, from like, neuroscience to like to virtuosic violin, sure.
it happens. People go to college and their parents think they're going to medical school and they end up playing klezmer fiddle. So what happened? I graduated, and young musicians in New York at the time would read the musician want ads at the back of the Village Voice, and there was one from somebody looking to form a klezmer band, and I answered, and after a couple of name changes, we became the Klezmatics. And I read the ad and I was like, that's that stuff that my father's friend Andy played. So that's how. But I went to the Workman Circle School as a kid, and I learned Yiddish there. And we listened in my family to WEVD a lot. So I heard everything but klezmer, in those years, Yiddish folk songs and cantorial music and so forth on EVD. So klezmer just made sense when I heard it.
Where did you grow up?
In Spring Valley, New York, in Rockland County. And there was a little shul there, and my teacher was Libby Zaretsky. Her husband was an accordionist who had a hit song, I think, called Little Green Ducks. And so my bas mitzvah was in Yiddish in the backyard, and I did my Haftorah and Torah portion in Yiddish from, the Yiddish Tanakh, and he played the accordion.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Were your parents born here?
Yeah, my great grandparents came here from Odessa and Minsk.
And did you know your grandparents or great?
I, yeah, I knew my great grandmother,
Boom.
who was from Odessa, Grandma Olia.
Well, and when did you start to? You mentioned you first heard klezmer when you were like 16. When did you start with the violin?
When I was 5. So I studied classically um, for 11 years or so. And then what happened in college was uh, I left college in the middle for a year and a half, and I went hitchhiking around Europe playing on the streets. And I got into, this was before world music was a thing. It was just my own weird thing, and I,
Well,
imagined what would happen with it. So I met musicians from all over the world, and I would play with them, and they would teach me I tried to get into the sound of their music, and
mhm.
I played with a Berber group in Paris, and Catalan folk music in Ibiza. So when I came back from college, that's when I quit neuroscience and changed my major to ethnomusicology. And I was
Wow.
the only undergraduate in the brand new department too.
As a mom now who has a son in Prague, does this sensitize you to your own children's life explorations?
Yeah, I mean, I, it was so amazing, and you know, I'm nervous about them being adventurous, but I don't want to deprive them of that either. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Um, so you came back and you had this like, first of all, I've never heard like the Yehoyash Bat Mitzvah. That's so wild. Like
Really? I thought it was a thing.
maybe
It
it's a
was just
thing. I
us?
don't know about it. No, no, no. It could very well have been a thing, and I don't know about it. There's so much I don't know about,
Me
um,
too.
which is like why I'm grateful to be hopping on these like Zoom calls and getting to like reach out to people I haven't spoken to in forever. Um,
Yeah.
I was asking my dad. I was like, I think my first memory, or one of my earliest memories, it can't be the first memory. Well, the first probably memory of is like you leading chicks um
Les Camp.
in Klez camp in the
Yeah.
Catskill Mountains, which was like the itty bitty kitty like Klezmer orchestra.
That
But
was like the Nachis Capella.
right, the Nachas Capelia. We're just like right, 18 months old stand on stage with a pot and a pan.
So great.
Um, but then I remember the concert in Damrosch Park with Yitzhak Perlman, and I have a memory that you'll tell me whether it's true or it's not true. But I remember as a kid seeing this. Okay, it's a debate that I have with myself, really.
Okay.
Um, didn't Yitzhak Perlman hand you his violin to hold at some point?
I think, okay, so I think that where this memory, it's not a false memory,
Okay,
but it does, here's where it comes from. This is the Snopes of your Klezmer memories.
okay.
Um, in the film, in the Fiddler's House, I'm there, and so is Mimi Rapson of the Klezmer Conservatory Band. And apparently, as Jewish women with curly hair of about the same age, people weren't always sure who watched the film who was who. And there's a moment in the film where he hands her his violin. Now, at some point, he offered me to try his violin, and I was so intimidated by the value of that Stradivarius or whatever it was that I just couldn't do it. And I'm kind of a klutz, so it might have been the right call.
So this didn't happen in the concert then in Damrosch Park?
I don't think so. It,
Okay.
you know,
I remember it being you. I'm sorry. This
but
is
there's a lot I don't remember, so I wouldn't put a lot of money on it not being me.
damn. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if this is on Facebook Live right now, but I will share it later, and maybe someone else from the concert that night can either validate or nullify
Yeah,
that
set
memory.
us straight on that.
Yeah. Um, Want to play us another melody
Sure.
or tune?
Yeah. How about a little medley?
Sure.
Okay. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Mother's Day edition.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about how humbled I felt like before we started on Facebook Live, although I think now the Facebook Live has ended, but doesn't matter. I'll post it afterwards. When you asked to do a sound check and you like were dependent upon my ears, because to my ears that's like amazing. I feel like I'm in the presence of like Baal Shem Tov era you know, like assistance in terms of like the spiritual
Oh,
that it takes me. but also, and it reminded me of like why I feel such a fierce kinship, even in, I don't know, my like post yeshiva days, of like the music and sound of like the Hasidim, and that world of, the late 1700s and 1800s.
Yeah.
So thanks for being that bridge for me,
Thank you.
tonight. Okay, here's another memory that you'll feel welcome to smash. And I feel like these Zoom episodes are just invitations into, like different memories of whatever. Mikvah, was that not the first ever women's led klezmer ensemble?
Nope. No, there was a band very early on in the revival called Klezmetalek. And I joined the band for a short period of time. And Janet Leuchter was the vocalist.
Wow.
And Becky Miller, fiddler and ethnomusicologist Becky Miller, was in the band for a time. And then I played with them a bit. And Klezmetalek is how David Krakauer got to Klezmer, because he was friends with them and they turned him on to Klezmer, and then he joined the Klezmetics. But then in the 1990s, I formed Mikvah with Adrian Cooper, our dear friend who passed away a few years ago, and amazing Yiddish vocalist. Lauren Brody, Margot Leverett, Marilyn Lerner joined the band at some point, Susan Hoffman-Watts on the trumpet. We made one album and we had an amazing time while the group lasted.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you again for smashing another one of my childhood memories, but into greater crystallization and reality, like Metzius. So thank you for that. I have another memory. Last one, I promise.
It's okay.
Is around a shula event with my bubby and you.
Oh, wow.
And, it's a concert of sorts. Is this one possible?
Yeah, totally possible. Sure.
Fine. I will take that if one out of the three memories of my conscious, subconscious proven true tonight.
Yeah, and there were probably several of those, in fact.
When did you meet my bubby?
Well, I got a day job at YIVO in 1987. So, and then I taught a Klez camp every year. And so, she was delicious and amazing. And, I was so lucky to know her. And I learned so much from her, and all of us did.
I'm thinking back to, you sent a beautiful note in after she passed away that I have
wow.
I compiled into a collection that for
What?
you was just for the family of different remembrances of people who had sent in. Thanks for being here into the internet worlds. Do you want to share maybe another tune or two before we sign off?
Yeah. So this is a tune that was recorded in the early 20th century as I don't remember okay, let me rewind that. This is a Hasidic nigun. And actually, I recorded it with a band on an album that the rabbi who produced it called Vodka Zak, a portmanteau of the words vodka and kazak. It was re-released like 10 years later under the title Hasidic Breeze, believe it or not. So now I'm playing it alone without a band. And, I just need to tune for a second. Sorry, if I were a guitarist, I could do some banter over this, but okay. But
No need for banter.
Do you know that tune?
Mm-mm.
I think it's called Ashrenu, actually. It's an Ashrenu.
They had moments of it feeling like as the Rebbe Elimelech, who on my mom's mom side, apparently I'm related to. So,
Really?
apparently,
That's Yichus.
of Lezhinsk. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And shattering my mismemories of you, and also upholding mythic type of appreciations of you. Your playing is so heartsick and soulful and piercing, and for me, like, was such a soundscape of my childhood, and
Oh, wow.
I feel that way, honestly. And so it's a special privilege now, as like a young father trapped in isolation with my own children, to be like facing back to these moments of childhood and utter vulnerability, and what were the sounds that we were listening to. So it's a
Yeah.
privilege to be here with you for a little bit tonight and hear some of your music. And where should people go to follow your sound?
Well, I have a website, aliciasvigals.com. I have a Facebook page, um, and my albums are on Apple Music and stuff.
Um, so this is where we will go. um,
Okay, it's been lovely chatting with you, spending some time with you virtually, like as things are right now.
yeah,
But thanks for inviting me.
pleasure. Thanks for joining us. And I'll post and tag and share later tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Gesund.